Yo, Tube, what's good? It's Aeghis, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over a match or two that we've had on the pre-patch of Wrath. So I just wanted to go over a couple games because people have been asking and I guess kind of struggling with adapting to pre-patch Mage. I will say right now, it is a little different because for one, we're level 70, so things aren't really scaled that well. Like damage feels really weird. Your mana as a mage is a big issue. That'll get better at level 80 and with full gear when values are a lot higher. And also we're playing right now without blanket CS, which is a talent that we get later on where it basically makes your counter spell into a silence that you can just cast on people. And that changes a lot of matchups. So definitely take pre-patch mage with a little bit you know, it's not a fully refined version of Wrath Mage. So if you're not enjoying your time as a mage on pre-patch as Frost, just know that it's gonna get a lot better. But anyways, so you can see in the starting room, basic stuff. I'm making food for my partner, making food for me. I have my Arcane Intellect, Dampen, and then I also have Ice Armor and Ice Barrier and Mana Shield. So these are usually the buffs I'm walking out of the gates with. The reason why I'm using Ice Armor is I kind of just run in by default. So you can see I have it on by default. I see what I'm fighting right away. I know it's a melee cleave, so I keep Ice Armor. If this was like, I don't know, Mage Priest or something, then I would switch this right here, first global. So we're walking in. Basically, I go invis here, and we're looking to get like a pre-sap on the pally. Warriors are really tanky, so we're gonna opt to go the pally here. So I can't see them in invis here. You can see he says go pally. Sap deep sheep war. So now what I'm doing right here as a mage is I'm watching for the sap animation. You can see the sap animation right there, so I know to come out. I press water elemental first global, and then I also pet nova deep. So it's 2 globals here to do this. So you come out, pet nova, or sorry, welly, and then after that your next global is deep freeze, since pet nova is off the global, so you pet nova deep, veins. So I veins to sheep that cast, but he actually trinkets to line it, so now I have to kind of work around. So you can see right there, I'll back it up, he trinkets, I fake his kick, and now I only have to do it with reflect really. So I'm trying to fake reflect here, but he's not actually pressing it, so I just commit to the cast, but it actually breaks to my welly. So one thing that I think is probably a good idea is to have your pet on passive, and then don't tell it to attack until you start to cast on the pally. So you could do this a couple ways. You could put pet attack into your frostbolt macro or your ice lance macro. I would recommend frostbolt, or you can just have it bound separately, which is what I do. But definitely take your pets off passive, or else this will happen, or take them off at aggressive, or else this will happen. You can see then he blade storms. So we're going to pally. I'm just dumping my instant damage. I have to actually block this blade storm. So blade storm is a lot of damage in Wrath. It's like one of their biggest. You can see it just chunks me, and but my rogue actually disarms it right there. But I still send the block. Blocking in Wrath, this is just something I kind of want to note. Blocking in Wrath is a little bit different because you don't have heal block. So you're trying to do what I call like a value block, which is where you're making sure that they're actually committing high damaging spells onto you, like in this example, Blade Storm. And then you want to block at a pretty decent HP. So actually I should have blocked maybe even a little bit earlier because the warrior trinketed to Blade Storm. So realistically I should have blocked maybe like right here instead of this barrier global that I do, but it didn't end up costing me too much HP. That's just really nitpicky. So we get double trinkets this go, it's really good. I'm just kind of kiting around the box here, trying to avoid damage until DRs are off. He has freedom, so I can't even like root him or anything. He actually blinds the warrior, and then he gouges so that the pally can't bop it, which is really good. And then on this gouge, I can start pre-casting a frostbolt here. So pre-cast that frostbolt. Now I'm just casting, fishing for procs. He bubbles. I sheep the warrior. Now I'm trying to sheep dispel. Doesn't quite do it. And then my sheep actually ends up missing, which is a little unfortunate. But pallies also have this thing where when they dispel, it gives the next magic effect at like a 33% chance to miss, so really it wasn't RNG, but I'm just, like I said, avoiding all damage here. I go for an evocate. Even though I only get 1 tick, it kind of sucks, but I know that the game is likely going to be over in the next go, so I'm just trying to get a little bit of health and mana back. So now that he gets this pre-sap, which is really good, obviously, so shout out to Explicit for landing that. That was insane. Now, basically, my goal here is to deep sheep the warrior. So you can see I have a proc, and this is really good because you can deep freeze without a pet. Because this just allows you, this proc right here, the Fingers of Frost, allows you to deep with no Nova, which is really good. But you see I have 6 seconds on Sheep DR, so I'm waiting this out. I actually cold snap right here because I know that we're about to do the go. So I cold snap and reset my welly and my veins, even though I'm not getting full value because I'm not getting 2 deep freezes. But honestly, that's a really like greedy play in this scenario. You don't always need to try to fish for like double deep. So I just reset. I'm baiting reflect. I get it. Boom. And then I pet Nova. He actually cheap shots for me, which is fine because he has a vanish for cheap shot on Pally. So then I deep sheep. He vanished cheap shots Pally. Frostbolt gouges DR, so we go right into kidney instead of cheap shot gouge. And then I get procs. Should have casted another Frostbolt here in hindsight, but he's on Forb still, so his bop I think goes on the warrior by accident. Here's we will kick. Dead. I block his Mortal Strike global. My rogue goes. He's dance up, cheap shot into kidney. I come out, cast. I pet Nova shatter that Frostfire Bolt, which is actually Fireball. I've had a lot of people come into my stream and say, Aeghis, how do you have Frostfire Bolt already? It's not Frostfire Bolt, it's Fireball macroed to look like Frostfire Bolt, and I put it on the same bind as well, so that whenever we get Frostfire Bolt in the future, I'm not having to like learn a new bind. So I just put Fireball on C, and then yeah, the game's over here. So we just gotta mess with them a little bit. Let me fast forward to a different game here. Alright, yeah, so DK, this is another kind of brutal matchup. I think it's a DK healer or something, DK Resto Druid. Let's see how this game starts. Let me go backwards just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Yeah, nice. So you can see I got the whole same situation going on. I don't actually have a mana shield in this version. You usually only want to proc the mana shield. This is actually important to note. You usually only want to proc the mana shield early if it's like a purge comp, and the reason behind that is that you can start while you have a barrier up. It's important that you have a lot of buffs, because if they just walk in and press purge on the first global, then you're losing your best buff, which is your barrier. So but there are no purges in this, so I just immediately start doing damage. I actually whiff my Pet Nova. No one saw that, right? Must have been bugged. Yeah, it looks like that Pet Nova actually bugged out there. It's pretty weird. Sending my pet after him. Blizzard the other side. So Blizzard actually does a fair amount of damage. You can see I'm kind of chunking him right here with Blizzard. But keep in mind, watch my mana when I press Blizzard. So I'm at 97, and then it brings me down to 79. So it's pretty expensive. The only reason I do this is because I know I have my Welly here, and I want to force him off the pillar. So I do force him off the pillar here. I start casting. So DKs have grip. They have pet stun, and then they also have their mind freeze is actually melee ranged, so that's pretty nice. He pops AMS. I know he still has grip here, so I Nova him. He pet stuns me. I blink, and I know that I can line the grip here, so I'm lining grip. I deep Druid for CC, but you don't see me sheeping off of this because you actually can't sheep Druids in this expansion. So then I just immediately start pumping damage here. You can see I'm getting so many procs. He zones. Still just trying to crank through if I can. You can see here I actually mana shield, mana gem. The reason why I do this is because I don't have a barrier. And I know I don't really have to block because I have no diseases on me. So I'm just holding block because I know I can afford to spend a little bit of mana but I don't want to passively rot down to the bleeds that I had on me, so I mana pot, mana shield, and I'm still just pumping damage here. He strings me, so I opt to just block it off because I think we are going to kill here. I can see that Explicit is camping the Druid. Like, I see him sitting behind the box here. He's just going to sap him 3 times, and this guy has no AMS and no AMZ, so I know that this is my cue to... You can see here, I'll back it up just a little bit. Sorry, I keep backing it up randomly. You can see my pet is about to fade here, 0 seconds. So what I do out of this is I snap, and then I get a new Veins and a new pet. I Pet Nova Deep, and then I start lancing into it. I actually Cone of Cold, throw my proc, and then he dies. So, or throw my Frostfire Bolt proc. I'll play that back because I realized that I kind of skipped and did a lot of stuff as it was playing out, so I'll just let it play out here. And actually, as I'm watching this back, you could also note that I should have CS'd this gargoyle that's casting up here. It's just kind of owning me, and I had CS available, so could have done that. But also, I think, yeah, it's something minimal, but I'm just saying, it would have been a good play. But yeah, anyways, those are 2 like pretty decent games that I just wanted to go over. I'll probably do this for a lot more matchups later on. It's kind of hard at the moment on Prepatch to find high quality games, because when you queue skirmishes, you're just getting a lot of like really low level teams and just people with no gear. So it's kind of hard to get like high quality matches right now, which is kind of why WoW is like feeling a little weird at the moment, because like retail is in that state where it's kind of dead. Wrath is like not a whole lot to do, but when Wrath comes out, it's gonna be so much fun. I hope you guys are excited. Anyways, that's all for this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.